live from the Malin studio, the big studio. Now it's a little room, but it's still my little studio, and I still use it, but I just haven't been in here in a long time. I haven't streamed here for I don't even know how long, but it's been quite a while since I've streamed from in here. Um, the last time, where was I? Where did I go the last time? I went somewhere. Oh, to the Bang, what was it? Bang Nam Pung floating market. That's where I was the last time. And I just didn't want to go to Pacamara again. I always go there. So, I either wanted to go to a different coffee shop or I wanted to go from somewhere, and I just was like, okay, I'll go from home today. Anyway, that's why I'm here. Today we're going to talk about the many reasons why moving to Thailand is much easier than you think, unless you're a big baby or you're unprepared. And I see these videos all the time about how people they have such a hard time moving to Thailand and how it's so rough to move to Thailand uh, and usually these are by people who make videos that have been here for like a year or two and they're selling some, how to do YouTube, how to move to Thailand, whatever. They're selling some kind of thing like that. But I've seen it quite often, and that's why I'm doing the video because I just came across a couple of those videos and I just went, what's up, man? It's not that difficult. I did it without the internet. I mean, pretty much, I was completely without the internet. And if you think about that, it was the old-fashioned way, through a book or books. It was two books, Let's Go Thailand, and then there was some book, and I don't remember the name of it anymore, but it was about uh, the most wonderful party places on the planet. And there were like 20 of them. In Thailand and Koh Samui, Phangan, that area was one of the areas that was in the book. So I had that book and I had my Let's Go Thailand. And I was just like, you know what? This is enough information for me. And then when I came, good morning, Jim. Good morning, how you doing? Then when I came here, I thought, well, this is pretty nice here. Good morning, Victor. Good morning, everybody. And, after a couple of times here, I thought, I can move here. You just got to have a little bit of money. That's the thing. You don't have money, forget about it. You got some sporadic income. You better manage your money well, or you better just not try it. But this was, this is 30 years ago. And the internet was around, but to give you to put it into context, the internet was around, but basically it was AOL forums, AOL, rooms where you could talk to people about certain things, whether it's Thailand or whatever it is. And then there was a couple like Prodigy. There were a couple of little rooms, and I didn't get much information from them, quite honestly. And where I got a lot of my information from about traveling, not necessarily about Thailand, was from this guy, and I've talked about him in the past. This guy, I don't remember his name, don't remember, exactly what's going on or if they're still open or whatever. I wouldn't think the place is still open. It's been 30 years, and the guy was older that owned the place. He was about 50 years old, so maybe they're open, but there was down the street from the print shop where I worked, there was a little fishing shop. Now, when I say fish shop, it was exotic fishes that they were selling, and then they were bringing in fish from the ocean to sell to restaurants. So they had two things going on at the same time. And I used to go down there because we used to do printing for them. And I used to go down to the place, and there was a guy there, and he would talk about how, oh, I'm going to Indonesia now. So he was going to Indonesia. And what he used to do was he used to ship back a bunch of furniture. Then when the furniture came to America, he would resell the furniture at a much higher price, and he made money. He paid for his trip that way. He paid for multiple trips that way. And you know, I was like, wow, that's pretty good. I wish I could do that. And I actually thought about going to Indonesia at first, and I had an Indonesian lady who lived next to me. She's around the same age as I was, but for some reason I didn't like her. I was just like, she's a little too much. She's a little too loud, a little too obnoxious, and I just didn't like her. So that's why I was thinking about Indonesia, but I thought if all Indonesians, which they aren't, are like her, I thought, I don't know, I don't know if I can handle that. And they're much different than she was. And I actually really like Indonesia and Indonesians. But, for some reason, something turned me off about Indonesia when I was talking to her about Indonesians. And it was really just her. But I just thought, I don't know, maybe Thailand is better for me. And I had been going to the Netherlands for like 5 years in a row, and they were telling me about Thailand, and all the perks in Thailand. So I thought I'll make a move and go to Thailand, but I didn't know how to do it, and I talked about this the last 2 streams ago or something like that. And I like to say I was either too stupid or just too naive or really ballsy. But I thought, I'm going to go with a little bit of money and I'm going to be okay. And so that's what I did. That's how my thinking process was. My thinking process was, as long as I got some money, and I thought if I got a way to have some money coming in, obviously, then I'd be okay. And I got all that, and I made the move. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, they don't make the move, or they plan extensively when they can't really plan that much. I mean, how much can you really plan? The bottom line is you got to have money. But there are quite a few reasons why some people don't come. And there are quite a few reasons why people don't even come here as tourists. So I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. But first, right now, the dollar is 36.21 to the baht. The air quality is 53, which is not too bad. 36.21. I just hope it keeps going back up. It doesn't go down. Because, like I always say, under 36, and I'm like sweating it a little bit. Under 35.5, I'm really starting to sweat. And if it hits 35, I'm like, it sucks. But anything over 36, and I'm kind of happy. But anything over 36.5, I'm very happy. But 36.21 is not too bad. But I'd still like it to get above 36.5. The temperature right now is 80 degrees, the high of 86, low of 78. Can you believe that? 78 degrees is the low. And the feel like temperature is 82. It's 84 humidity, and the dew point is 75. So there's all that. That's the environment that we're in right now. And I've got to go out in a little while and run some errands and things like that. But that's after the stream. I'm going to run some errands. I wanted to show you guys something. You see this? Now, I know it's Chinese, but that's about all you're going to get here in Thailand if you're trying to get these, unless you want to pay top dollar. And I mean you're paying 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 baht. So let me show you this here. That's why I've got a freshly shaved head, because this thing is much better than all the trimmers, all the shavers that I have. And it's actually somebody that I watched their video review of this said, "Oh yeah, it's really cheap plastic. It's very light." And I was like, "Wow, it's just a perfect weight, really. It's not too light, and it's not too heavy. Um, oops. Yeah, it's not too heavy. But this thing is called a Kemei, Kemei, which is Chinese. There's the little thing on here. Take it off. And I did put some oil on here. And this thing will shave my head like nothing. You just bzz, 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 like 5 minutes, my whole head is shaved, and I'm good. And I had said I was going to buy one of these. And I looked around and I was like, do I need to spend 2,500 baht? I mean, you know, if I have to, then that's what I'll get. And I kept looking around. I kept seeing this one come up, and I was like, you know what? It's a pretty good deal. It was 300 baht. 325 baht with shipping. Pretty cheap. So I'm happy. Now I can get my head shaved all the time. Like once a week, twice a week, I can shave my head, and it doesn't really cost me a thing. Aren't you all happy? Daniel. I was wondering how you're doing. All right. You know, some people, like Daniel, like Dowlow, like quite a few other people, they come over here for a couple of months, maybe a month or two, and then they go back to the U.S. and they're perfectly happy. Let's just get that out there right now, because some people seem to say, seem to think that just because you're living in America, things are so terrible. I don't believe that. That kid who met me in the tea shop, Andrew, seems to think that, oh, America's terrible, and, you know, you can't be a man in America. Listen, I know I don't live there now. I was always a man in America. Always. I didn't have any problems. Now, I don't know, maybe I'd have a problem now. I mean, I'll just say that. Of course I could. Of course, many men could have problems now. I think it's important that you navigate the system as best you can, so that you can retain your maledom, your manhood. But I don't think that, you know, like, the women they're the ones who tell you what to do, and I know it's a woman's world if you get divorced and all that kind of stuff. Listen, then don't get married. If you're in the U.S., don't get married. If you're outside, well, maybe, but maybe not. You know, so I didn't have any problems in America. And some people love to live in America. I understand it. My family loves America. Now, they don't like everything. And guess what? I don't like everything about Thailand. But I made the move. And, you know, I saw something yesterday. It's very simple. What's the difference between an immigrant and an expat? And an expat is somebody who is in the country temporarily. They may be moving back. They are probably moving somewhere else. That is an expat. That's not me. I am an immigrant. I don't mind saying that. You can call me whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. You can call me an expat. I don't care. But after 30 years, are you going to be there for a while? Are you going to stay there permanently? After 30 years, I would think, okay, you know, most people would understand that, yes, I have moved here. Now, who knows? You never know what's going to happen. But that's what an immigrant is. Somebody who moves to the country to live there. Doesn't have to be from a third world country. But there are some people, and I've known a few over the past few years, who they wanted to move to Thailand, and they tried to move to Thailand, and they ended up going back kind of with their tail between their legs. And a lot of people do that. Some people who have been online. Some people that people remember, some YouTubers. And that's why, I don't have anything against anybody YouTube. Anybody can YouTube. It's no big deal, right? But when you see guys, I saw somebody the other day who said, I'm an expert in Thailand. He's been in Thailand for a year. Okay, maybe you're an expert. I don't know. I don't think so. Okay? But there are many reasons why people fail when they try to come over here. Well, it's not that, Daniel. Basically, the way that it would work, first of all, I could do it now, but it would probably cost me a couple million baht. No, it wasn't. I don't consider you an expert, Jim. I'd say anybody under about 5 years is, I don't know, 3 years, we'll say, is not really an expert. You get knowledgeable. And the thing is that anybody with half a brain, if you live here for 10 years, 20 years, 30, 50 years. I know people that have been here for 45 years. And they're old. You gradually pick up things. You either pick it up or you're an idiot. You don't really have an option. If you're moderately intelligent, you pick things up as you go. Now, when it comes to visas and things like that, the way that they have structured their system now, the Thais have structured the system to where you get 60 days on this, you can get 10 years on this. They've made it very difficult. It's not very, very difficult, but it is a little bit difficult because you have to decide, if you got money, you have to decide which way is the way that I want to go. Do I want an elite visa? What do I want to do? Do I want to just study Thai and I'll stay there for a year and maybe I'll make my mind up if I want to live here? How do I want to do it? So I don't always keep up with things like that, but I think it's important that you know why people fail and why they succeed. And the one thing is that, if you've got a family and you're over in the States and, you're happy and you've got a family, you got a couple of kids and they're growing up and your wife loves you and you love your wife, unless you all want to do it, why would you move? For what reason? I don't see a reason. Maybe what reason you move over is because of your financial situation. You may be in a position where you go, listen, I can live in Thailand for much cheaper or for cheaper than I can live in the States. And my wife has Social Security. I have Social Security. Or I have, money coming in from a house and she's got whatever it is. And then you guys move. Maybe you don't want to bring your kids. Maybe it's okay. Your kids are doing their own thing, whatever. Okay, that's fine. So, that's a big reason right there why some people don't come. They're just like, listen, I got a life here. I don't need to move over there. I don't want to move over there. Contrary to what some of you may think, everybody doesn't want to move to Thailand. They don't want to move to the Philippines. They don't want to move to Ecuador. They just don't. They're happy where they are. They're set where they are. I know a lot of people don't even think about, like, where can I live besides here? I always have thought that way. I don't know why, but I always thought, I don't know that I want to live. I don't have to live in the United States. I can live somewhere else. That's how I've always thought. Well, some people move for work, and some people don't know what they're getting into. Then they move, and then they go, hey, you know what? This area is all right. I like it, and I'm not going to go back. Okay, well, I think that's fine. What do you, you can always go back if you want. That's the thing. It's not like you can't go back. It's not like you're losing your citizenship unless you're giving up your citizenship. You're not losing it, so you can always go back to the United States or to Australia or to the UK or wherever you go. You can do whatever you want. All right, so I'm going to start on this list of 25 distinct reasons why people might be unable to expatriate from to Thailand from the United States, and some of the people make the move and then they decide it's not for me. I'm moving back. Now, like I said, one reason is familial obligations, responsibilities for your family members, whether it's your spouse or your children or whatever, or maybe you just don't want to get away from them to where you're like, wow, I'm away from them. I'm going to come once a year to see them, and that's it. Some people don't want to do that. Okay, so that's one thing. Another is, of course, financial constraints, insufficient savings, or income to support the move and lifestyle in Thailand. Some people can move to Thailand and they've got plenty of money and they go, I've got $5,000 in the bank. Yeah, that's gonna last me for like 10 months. Oh, really? No, it's not. I mean, I'm here to tell you, I had 10 grand 30 years ago, and I pissed that away. Plus, I had money coming in every month, but I pissed that away quick. It was a month. That money was gone. Month and a half. It was gone because I wasn't smart enough to go, wait a minute, I need to just slow down and figure out what to do and how I want to push things. How much I want to, how much do I really want to spend? What do I really need as opposed to want? There's a lot of things that we want. We hey, you want that new jet ski? Well, yeah, I guess. If you, okay, sure. But you don't need it. So why are you going to buy it? Unless you really, really want it. You think you're going to get a lot of good use out of it. All right, the next one, job security. Lack of employment opportunities or inability to find a job that offers a work permit here in Thailand. That's not always so easy to do. And a lot of people work illegally. But that's another thing. Because, like I said a while ago, I came here, and 30 years ago, there was I think it was a Sir Speedy print shop on Asok. And I went in there and I said, do you need an employee? I had no idea. That you couldn't just go in and work as a printer because that's reserved for Thais. I had no idea. And the guy was like, no, I can't use you, man. And I was like, well, okay. And then I slowly figured out, well, these kind of jobs are only for, I've had people write me and ask me, can I become a refrigerator repairman? Can I work in, air, whatever it is, it's the air conditionings, air, I forgot what the title of it is, but work and deal with air conditioning and those kind of things, And I'm like, no, you're not going to be able to do that. It's very difficult. Another thing that a lot of people complain about when they're here, but they still stay here, and that's fine, I understand. You don't have to like it. But some people, they just can't find a way around it. They will be a tourist, and like I told the story about the guy who, he was on a tourist visa, and they told him you need to get a retirement visa or a marriage visa or whatever. You need to get a proper visa to stay full time. And he was like, they're kicking me out because he couldn't qualify, or he didn't want to qualify. He said he had the money, but he didn't want to put the money in Thailand and all this other kind of stuff, which I didn't really believe, because if you got the money, you might as well put it in the system and you can stay here. Then you don't have any problems. But he didn't do that. And a lot of people, they just don't want to go through the steps that they need to get the proper visa. It's not all that difficult, but it is a little time consuming, and you do need to cross the T's and dot your I's and do all these things so that you'll be able to get into the system. And once you're set up, it's just like I've told several people about the AIS 399 plan. It's a post-paid plan, which means you pay after, right? I've told a lot of people about that. Some people are like, well, I get this one for $5.99. It's really great. And okay, fine. I'm just telling you, this is the one that for me has suited me the best and is the very best that I found. And it works really well. Now, I know of, I think 3 people, I think it's 3, it's 2 or 3, who have gone that route and who have got that, oh no, it's like 4. They've got that plan, and now they never have to worry about it. They just have to pay it. Now, for me, I pay through Line because I like to use Line because it's online. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go. You know how many times I've been into a bank? I mean, I haven't been into a bank. I think the only reason I've been into a bank is to get the passbook updated, because for some reason there was an error when you put it into the card reader to update it, or it's full and you need to get a new passbook. That's the only reason I've been in a bank in like years. So, I think it's easier to do things online. It's just more convenient for me. It's not for everybody. I know people are like, well, I'll just go down there. Okay, then go down there. Do whatever you want to do. I know people that, they're going to get their 90-day report. They refuse to mail it in. They refuse to do it online because they don't trust it, because they don't like it, because they don't feel comfortable doing it, whatever the reason is. I don't have a problem with it. Never did. And if they did have a problem, I called them up. And they always said, listen, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, fine. And I got their name, and I said, okay, I got so-and-so, Mr. Joe. He says, don't worry about it. Okay. And then 5 days later, 6 days later, I ended up getting a receipt, and I was okay. So I was happy about that. But that is the issue, the visa issues. You need to make sure you have a really good idea, what are you going to do when you come over here. You need to know, I'm going to get a tourist visa, then I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. You need to have an idea of the steps to take so you don't have to worry about it. Just get it out there. I'm going to get my retirement visa. Okay. So you get here, you transfer the money, the bank tells you, boom, boom, boom. They give you the paper, you go to immigration, you do it that way. Okay, that's fine. It's not that difficult. I did this when there was nothing online. You couldn't do anything online. Everything was written on little slips of paper. You could go to agents, which you can still do that, but you could go to agents right in Nana Plaza, and they just took care of everything. And it was legal. So it's not that difficult. These things, financial constraints and job security, okay, those are difficult. Those have always been difficult. Yeah, maybe you can get a job teaching English. That was a lot easier 30 years ago. But those two things are kind of difficult. The visa issues, they're not that difficult. You can figure out something, even if you're in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. Once you hit 50, you can get a retirement visa. You can also get an elite visa. So, if you look at Thailand compared to a lot of other places, it's a pretty fair place to live. Getting a visa is not that difficult, okay? The next thing, health concerns, personal or family health issues that require consistent specialized care, not readily available in Thailand. Well, many things are available in Thailand that didn't used to be available health-wise. However, it may be beneficial to be back in the United States because, first of all, maybe your insurance won't cover you here. Maybe the kind of care that you need to have your family behind you. You need to have them helping you. You need to have people driving you from here to there or whatever. So yeah, that's a pretty big concern. Now, this one, number 6, I don't really know how to feel about this. Cultural adjustment. Inability to adapt to cultural differences and local customs. Okay. If you think about it, and you got some guy from Iran coming here, or you got some guy from Ghana or something like that, maybe they would have a hard time. In the United States, yeah, there's people, they'll come here and they'll be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Okay, go home. The number one thing to do here when you come here, the very first thing you need to do is keep an open mind. You know, don't, why are you doing it this way? It needs to be my way. They don't care about your way. You know, and you don't want to eat the food, then go to the grocery and buy Western food. You can do that too. You can do whatever you want. So the inability to adapt to cultural differences and local customs. I don't like all the local customs. I'll be honest. I like many of them, but there are some that I'm like, I can do without it. I don't need to go to the Rocket Festival or the Lantern Festival or whatever it is. I don't need to go to those things. I've already seen them done. I've done that. You know, been there, done that. Okay, cool. I don't want to go anymore. So for me right now, to be honest, for me, Thailand is not exotic. It's nothing extraordinary. You know, it's just not that. I don't know how to say it. But, you know, after you've been here for a while, things do get easier. And, yeah, what was that, Dan? No, I didn't see that. All right, so then the next thing is the language. Difficulty learning or adapting to the Thai language. Now, I know many people, oh, there's the tones. I don't know how to get over the tones. How can I do this? Just keep going. That's what you do. Give yourself 2 years. That's an associate's degree. You have an associate's degree in Thai language. But give yourself a year or two. And you should learn the basics of Thai language. You don't have to become fluent. I don't consider myself 100% fluent. I mean, I can read the language, I can write a little bit, which, you know, I want to work on, and I can speak maybe 80%, you know. I can get along with people, I can talk to them, I can do whatever I need to do. I don't have a problem. I don't need my wife to be there holding my hand to tell somebody, oh, he wants this, oh, he wants that. I don't need that. I can do it on my own because I learned the language. And again, I'm going to say, I think it's very important that you learn the language. Those Farang who live here who want to change the culture to suit their personality, desires, truly get under my skin. I don't let it bother me, Jim. I mean, honestly, I figure that the Thais will deal with them in due time. You know, the Thais can handle themselves. You know, I saw this thing. Oh, come on, Bruce. Come on. Look around. They're everywhere. I mean, you can do it online if you want. I always give people the name of the place where I went. It was Chintana and Associates. And she's still in business. And she still remembered me a couple years ago because I used her again. I used her for the second time. But you can do it online, and it used to be that they would come to you. They didn't do that, but they would do it online. So for me, that was fine. I was like, you know what? I'll take language lessons anytime online because I don't want to have to sit in traffic. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want... The thing is, in Thailand and in Bangkok especially, who wants to waste all their time sitting in traffic? I don't. So when I go somewhere, it better be for a good reason that I'm going there. It better be something that I really want to do. And if it's not, then I don't need to go. Okay, now, another thing, and this is pretty important, education for children, concerns about the quality or availability of schools for children, and I really was concerned about this myself. And, the only way that our kids got a decent education was by paying for it, and paying, I wouldn't say through the nose, but paying a pretty penny. And could they have gotten better and better education? Yes, I would think they could have. But most people can get a better education if they got plenty of money. And if you have a little money, you can get a better education. I mean, sometimes you can pay, but sometimes it doesn't matter how much you're paying, you're not going to get a great education. I don't know where Daniel is, but the city here, I've not been able to find a Thai language school. Not a big enough market. Well, you can always do it online. Again, online. They can be in, Patani. They can be in Hat Yai, and you can be in Chayapum, and you do your language school. You can do it that way. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so the children, getting an education for the children is something that is rather important, and I think that you really need to look around. I mean, I looked around. I had a book that had all the different schools. I had various online sites, and I went through every single one of them. And the good thing was that the schools that my kids went to, the universities that they went to or are going to, were like in the top. Well, one of them was in the top 20, one of them was in the top 10. So I was like, okay, that's good. My wife tries to teach me Thai, but she isn't a teacher. What if I took the Thai class online sitting in Florida? How much in Thai baht? I don't know how much. I don't know. It might be 500 baht an hour. Might be, might be about that. But the price is the same whether you're in Thailand or you're in Florida. So, and my wife was a pretty good teacher. She would say, okay, if you're gonna write something, you would write like, it would be like, I don't know, I gotta think of this here. It would be like my pie psi. She would have all the my pie psi die, and you would have to write them all down. And then you would learn how to write each thing, but they sound all the same. So she used to teach me all this. What happened was she didn't have that much time, and at the time that she did have, she would say, why is it that you aren't doing what I'm telling you? And I'd say, I am doing what you tell me. I'm listening. What are you talking about? She'd go, no, you're not. And I'd be like, oh, God. And so we got frustrated. And I was like, you know what? It's better to keep that out of the family. My son, Alex, is a much better teacher. And I don't mean to say anything disparage about how my wife taught me Thai, but he is very patient, and he still teaches me a little bit, but now I kind of learn on my own, and I mean, I have textbooks and I have all kinds of things and sometimes I just look up the word, I thought the dolphin was plawan, right? It's not, it's loma. Yes, great deal. Email for more info later. Okay. Yeah, so, that's another thing here. Let me see here. The climate. Oh. The climate is something that you either are able to handle it or you're not. And if you're unable to handle it, I don't know that you will be able to. If you're depending on how healthy you are, how much you weigh, how much you take care of yourself, and how much you can just handle heat, you may not want to handle it. You might want to be somewhere that's cooler. I don't know. I don't particularly like the heat. Who does? Who wants to be sweating their ass off? But I think you can handle it if you really want to. But I can tell you that I'm the one, I'm always sweating. It doesn't matter. I've been like that since I was a little kid. Constantly sweating, always drinking lots of water, constantly sweating, no matter where I was. Whether it's in Florida, whether it's in Thailand or Myanmar. Oh my God! I went on a trip with 2/4 Korean once to Myanmar, and we were both just dying. It was so hot. We were dying. Really, it was really, really hot. And how do you get over that? You just handle it. You just remember to stay hydrated, and you handle it. It's about all you can do. You know, that's all I can say. Heat, humidity, whatever, you got to handle it. Let me see here. Where are we here? I need to find some Dick and Jane books in Thai. Okay. All you do is go to where they have children's books, and you go there, and you can find them in a bookstore or something like that. I think as our ears get older, we can't hear all the subtle tones. You don't need to worry about that, though. The heat this year seems so much worse than last year. Spent a lot of time indoors. Yes, it does seem worse. But I'm thankful we have air conditioners. As far as the tones go, don't worry about it. Just keep going. Just keep practicing. Just keep mimicking people that you hear. What'll happen is you'll hear somebody, and you'll be taught to say like "pai nai," right? You hear that all the time. So then you start to listen to people. How do they say it? They don't go "pai nai," "pai nai." They don't do that. They go "pai nai," "pai nai ma," right? So you start to mimic people as best you can. And that's where your ears come in. Not necessarily about the tone, like, oh, is this a low tone, high tone, middle tone, rising tone, falling tone? Which tone is this? I don't know. I never did that. My Thai is not perfect, but it is pretty good. And for me, that's how I did it. I always did it by mimicking people. I listened to how they said it, and then you copy them. And then hopefully that will help you, and you will speak better Thai. Legal issues. Existing legal issues in the U.S. that prevent travel or relocation. Yeah, I don't even know about that. I heard some felons are allowed to travel internationally, some are not. Don't try skipping out on your child support or alimony or anything like that, because the minute you do that, you set yourself up for problems. Security concerns, personal safety concerns, or fear of political instability in Thailand. I don't know a lot of people who have security concerns unless they brought it on themselves. There's no reason for you to get obnoxious. I saw something the other day. Oh, it was on what was it, on the SkyTrain or something? Yeah, it was a foreigner, an expatriate or immigrant, and he came onto I think the MRT. He came onto the MRT, and there wasn't much room. He almost missed the train, but he got on, and he kind of pushed the lady out of the way and said, like, move. And then he started swearing at her. F this, F that, F you. And she said something, and, they got into a big argument. And somebody tried to moderate and, hey, just calm down now. You really don't need to be like that. Now that gets on my nerves. Because you need to try to retain your decency and politeness, your gentlemanliness, or whatever, femininity. at all times. And it took me a little while to learn this. Oh, come on. I'm not going to say that, Daniel. And I know, it has to do with the lizard. I feel safer walking through any Thai neighborhood at that time of day. I felt in several Las Vegas neighborhoods when I lived there. Okay. I could say the same thing about a lot of places, and that's great. Of course, it's nice. But I don't live in Las Vegas now. You did, so it's good you got out of there. Okay, maybe it was the BTS. I don't know, but anytime someone starts with the expletives, whether they're drunk, whether they're high, whether they're just in a bad mood or whatever, they don't handle things the same way here in Thailand as they do in, say, the United States. Sometimes you might get cracked over the head for talking like that. But what I can say is, and my mother told me this a long time ago, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And if you want to be an asshole, well, then guess what? You're going to get treated like an asshole. You want to be nice. If you bump into someone, I saw this about, it was, what was it, Black Rain or something like that with Sean Connery, about Japan, where the guy says, listen, you bump into them, you say you're sorry. Now, I'm not talking about if, you bump into the guy and the guy gives you a hard shoulder and he like digs in and, like he wants to hurt you. I'm not talking about that. That almost, that just doesn't happen. But if you get into a situation to where somebody accidentally bumps you, you just go, sorry. Anytime you walk in between two people, you stoop down a little bit, you walk down, you walk through. It's polite. That's what you do in this culture. Do you want to follow the culture, or do you want to try to make things difficult for yourself? So that's where the customs comes into play, because they're not going to change for you. They will tolerate you to a certain point, but they're not going to change for you. All right, now the next one, housing. Difficulty finding suitable housing or understanding rental agreements. And honestly, it's not that difficult if you got half a brain. Rental agreements here are like rental agreements pretty much anywhere. Sometimes you got to pay a 1 month deposit, first month's rent. Sometimes you got to pay first and last plus deposit. Sometimes you got to pay a two deposit. You got to pay a 2 month deposit plus first and last. I've been in places where they wanted 4 months when you moved in. But I will say this about the housing. If you look around, you can find some good deals. And if you look around on the ground, you go places, you take a taxi, you take a motorbike, and you go to places, whether it's a townhouse, condo, house, apartment, whatever it may be. I mean, listen, the last place I lived in was 6,000 baht. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. It was a house. I had a big yard. And it was nice. I mean, it was a nice place. It wasn't, brand new and, oh, it's so nice. No, it was a nice place. This place, I've been living here for, 12 years, something like that. 7,000 baht. Hasn't gone up. Now, we've been looking for a place for about 10 years. And, my wife just told me the other day, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to this other place and look for this place. Okay, fine. Is it the one down the street? No. But there's a place down the street we've been looking at. So if you really want to find something, you can. Now, if you have a partner, a Thai partner, it would make it easier, because if you can't read Thai, you're going to get all these places that they double as an apartment, apartment and hotel. And those generally are a little bit more. You know, if they're charging 1,200 baht a night for an apartment, maybe they'll charge you 25,000 or say 20,000. But you might be paying a little bit too much. And everybody that I know, really, everybody that I know here, short of my buddy who moved to Cambodia and who's now, I think he's moving back to the States, he had a place that was worth the money. I think his was 7,000 baht, and he had it was like a one bedroom, you know, one living room, kitchen, and a balcony. And it was like 7,000 baht. And it was pretty nice. It wasn't bad. You know, it was pretty good. But everybody else that I know, they're paying a little more than they should. Not just in my opinion, but in everybody's opinion. Because they want to live by the SkyTrain, because they didn't really make the effort to look around for, say, a month. And look, you know, like when me and my wife were moving, and my wife looked for the place that we had before this, you know, it took us 2 months to find the place. But she was looking around all the time. She was asking around. She looked in you know, Thai publications. She was looking for all over the place. And we found something. And I was like, all right, this is all right. Now I'm glad we got out of there when we did, because we were next to the hospital, and the hospital now has expanded and it's a lot bigger, and it's just, I'm glad we got out of there when we did. Anyway, so the housing is something that you can easily, if you're just patient and you want to everything has to be done methodically, with military precision. And I think that will help. What did I say? Oh, this was health concerns. Okay. All right, so let me go on here. Social integration. Fear of isolation or difficulty making new friends and social connections. Listen, it's taken me a long time to have the friends that I have here. I probably have 5 or 10 people that I consider friends. Some of them I met through the channel. Some of them I haven't. Some of them I don't see them for a year, and then I see them, you know, 2-3 times in a month. It really just depends. So, you know, I think it's important that you can make friends. It's also important that you know how to choose friends. Because sometimes, you know, you're not sure what's going on, and the people that you meet might not be so worthwhile. They may feel the same way about you, I don't know. But you need to make sure that you take the time. I mean, like, listen, I used to do it at Starbucks. I've done it in Pacamara, where you see the same people over and over again. You just go, hey, what's up? I wouldn't talk to them for a while. I wouldn't talk to them for quite some time. After a while, hey, how's it going, buddy? All right. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from here. Then you start talking. Okay, that gets me into where they are an associate. They are somebody who I know and I associate with, but I'm not having them over to my house. There's only a couple people that I would ever ask over to my house. And I made the mistake of asking one person over to my house that I really didn't want here, because he was with the guy that I did want here. Well, they weren't like together or anything like that, but I mean, they knew each other, and I think they were roommates at the time. I don't know. You know who I'm talking about. And he came over, and he was just an utter asshole. He thought his shit didn't stink. And, you know, I'll tell you what kind of guy he was. He brought over like 5 bottles of soda. We drank 1 bottle, you know, with all of us here. It was him and a girl and another guy, and then me and my wife and the kids. And you know, we drank like a bottle and a half, I guess. So then we're getting ready to, you know, everybody's getting ready to leave. And he gets all the bottles and takes them back. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. It didn't matter to me. But I never forgot that because it's like, I got to have my Fanta. I got to have my soda. Okay, sure, you can have it back. It doesn't matter. You know, normally people bring a bottle of wine or they bring some soda or whatever it is, and they don't take it back. But so anyway, so making friends is something that I think you really need to. You need to like kind of you. Do, that's why sometimes I'm walking through the mall and I'll see some foreigner and he's bebopping around and he's like, "Hey man, hey," you know, and I'm like, "Oh God, like relax, dude," you know. That kind of stuff happens. It happened to me yesterday. And like, I don't know the guy. I don't want to know the guy. I don't care. I don't really care. It's not that I'm not friendly, but I just am careful. So anyway, so that's something that's important. Making friends, being proper in a social atmosphere. You know, can you go out with someone and have a dinner with them and, you know, they're not like shoveling food in their mouth and being a pig or, you know, do you mesh? I guess that's the important thing. Okay, the next thing here on the list. This is number 14. Healthcare. Concerns about the quality and availability of healthcare services. This is a bit opposed to health concerns, like you've got health issues, but healthcare, you really need to have a plan for your health care. So that's something else here that's very important. And that goes hand in hand with the next subject, which is diet and food. Some people have the inability to adjust to local cuisine or dietary restrictions. And I don't understand this. I mean, I was thinking about it yesterday. I thought, how much do I really need to spend on groceries? And, you know, if I really want, I can spend maybe 12,000 baht, 16,000 baht a month. Because you don't just, you know, for me, I don't go to the grocery one time and then I'm like, okay, that's it. That's all my grocery shopping for the month. I get a couple of things and then in the middle of the week you go, oh, we ran out of milk. Oh, we ran out of water. I need to get some more. So you spend money periodically. But I was thinking about yesterday, if I just bought food myself, if I really wanted to, I could have a comfortable lifestyle for say 300-400 baht a day, because I can get food. It's 80, 100 baht, 60 baht, something like that. I can always get food like that. Good morning, Alpharetta Jim. I can always get food like that. But do I really want to? I mean, like I did the thing a little while ago about, I think it was, I don't know, 150, 200 baht, something like, I don't know how much it was, I forget. But I was only eating Thai food. And I was thinking to myself, well, how much would it cost me to eat with Thai? Okay, after a week, I was like, man, I'm tired of eating this way. I want something different. It's not that, oh, I don't like Thai food. I'm so sick of it now. No, that's not what it was. It was that after you eat Thai food for years, over and over and over again, sometimes you're just like, I just don't want that. I want something different. I want some manicotti. I want some lasagna. I want some spaghetti and meatballs sometimes. Sometimes, oh, I want some meatloaf. I like to have all these things. Sometimes I want, the other day, I had what was it called? Not salted. Spicy salmon, spicy salmon skin roll. That's what it was. I had it from Minato the other day. Just one plate. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get a bunch of stuff and I'm going to be stuffed. And no, I got some salmon. It's the salmon. I got it. I ate it. I'm like, this is delicious. Fantastic. Boom. I went home. Then for dinner that night, I had like, I don't know what it was. I don't even know. I can't even remember what I had last night for dinner. I think I had like bratwurst or something like that. I had some sausages. I just put them in the air fryer. You know, I did it that way. Let me see what this is here. Good morning, everybody. What Thai food dishes does your wife prepare that are your favorites? Well, she doesn't cook nearly as much as she used to. You know, she used to cook every single day. Now she cooks about once a week. And that's fine, because I don't need her to cook for me. And if she does cook for me, it's because the whole family is at home and we have a meal that we can all eat. But I would say, you know, she cooks South food, South Thai food. She cooks Khanom Jeep. Not Khanom Jeep, Khanom, what is it? Oh man, I can't remember. Not Khanom Jeep. Jesus Christ. Khanom Chin. She makes Khanom Chin. That is with the noodles, and then we put like a fish sauce or put a pork sauce or something like that, and you put the beans in there and everything like that. That's pretty good. She makes that. Sometimes she just makes fried rice. Sometimes she makes, bat kapow. She makes all kinds of stuff, but usually she doesn't make it the same all the time. She doesn't make stuff the same all the time. The only thing she makes consistently is like she'd make like kaijio, or she'll make like fried rice. Some kind of fried rice. Might be pork fried rice, might be seafood fried rice, it might be shrimp fried rice. I mean, the other day I just got some shrimp, poured it in the wok, put a little butter in there, put a little garlic, fried it all up. Boom, it's done. Sat there with a bowl of shrimp, just picking them apart and eating them. And that was my lunch. And it was really good. Now I made that, not her, but you know, this is the way that we live, you know. And like now it's like she's too busy a lot of time. She's not home some of the time. And you know, my kids, they can cook with a microwave. So, you know, that's what she just makes things for them, and it's also for me, but only once in a while I have some food that might be theirs. If she makes some fried rice or something like that, maybe I'll have one serving of it and that's it, because I'm too lazy to cook, or I don't want to go out, or I don't have enough, or whatever reason it is. So anyway, you need to be able to adjust to the diet. And the thing is I don't mind having a Thai dish, like one Thai dish every day. I don't mind that. I don't always eat Thai food every day, but a lot of the time I'll have at least one Thai dish for, you know, maybe to be for a week in a row, and then maybe I don't have anything Thai. I'll have nothing but Western food. Sometimes I have a cheese sandwich. I mean, you know. All right. So the next thing on the list is transportation. And I don't know how people have a problem with this. This is the thing. All these things I'm talking about, I don't know how people really have a problem with things, aside from, say, not having enough money, or not having a job, or maybe having a problem with their family, or a problem with their health. All these things are things that it's a trade-off, and you basically are saying, I want to stay home. It's better for me to stay home. I mean, if anything serious, really serious happened to me, I would probably go home to get VA coverage, because I have full VA coverage. Would probably go home just to get that coverage, and I might be there for a few months. I don't know. It would really depend. It really would depend on the situation. Anyway, with the transportation. Challenges with transportation, such as traffic. Well, I hate the traffic here. Driving on the left, or lack of public transport options. I don't really see that in Thailand there is a lack of public transport options. I don't care where you are. I mean, it might be a little costlier and you might have to fit that in. Grilled, then they put with rice, noodles, cabbage, cilantro, special sauce. Yeah, we have that sometimes. Yeah, it's good. That's a pretty standard dish. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Jono is a fantastic cook. He's very, very good. And he's given me a few recipes, and I've got those recipes and made things for myself. What did he give me the other day? It was chicken cacciatore, I think is what it was. And I made that, and it was really, really good. My kids ate, they were like, oh man, this is awesome. And they just chowed it down. I mean, it was like we had like enough for like 6 servings, and it was gone like within a day. Listen, when it comes to all these things about seafood and all that, you know what? I don't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. You can get, there's mercury in tuna. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm just not going to worry about it. Because I am going to die. One day I'm going to die. I know that. And I know that because, first of all, I don't have as much hair as I used to. Now I have almost no hair. And I used to have some hair. And before that, I had a full head of hair. But I know I'm going to die. And I know I don't have the same power that I used to have. I don't have the same endurance. No way do I have the same endurance or power or whatever. And so, I mean, if you eat tilapia once in a while, I don't think it's not gonna kill you. So, I mean, we make steaks, we make pork chops, we make meatloaf, we make, chicken cacciatore, like I said. There was another chicken dish that I made that was really good. I forget what it was, but, I make all these kind of things. And it just comes down to, do I really want to make them? And sometimes I'll just make it for me and Alex. I go, Alex, we're going to have a really good dinner tonight. Yeah, really? Yeah, okay. Sometimes I make burritos. Sometimes I make tacos. I know Jim makes tacos. So we have no problem with the food here. I don't have any problem with it. Sometimes, like yesterday, I was like, you know what? And I talk about it a lot, but it's just sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want like a hearty bowl of soup. And so then I'll go get some ramen, 80 baht. 80 baht, I can't complain. Public transportation in Bangkok rivals to any other. Yes. Public transportation in Bangkok is amongst the best in the world. And if you're smart, I mean, I don't like to take the bus, but I've taken the bus. And you can have good transportation on the bus, on the boat, on a motorcycle, in a taxi, a SkyTrain, subway. What's the other one? The City Link. I can make myself a pretty good chicken noodle soup. I'm comfortable with it, and I've had to because they stopped selling chicken noodle soup in the grocery store, and I'm like, what are they doing? They used to have Pop-Tarts, and I don't eat Pop-Tarts that much, but I used to get them for the kids, and once in a while I would have one or two of them. Guess what? They don't sell them anymore. They used to sell tricks, and tricks were like 400 baht. Now they sell them, they're about 139 baht. They're back down to a decent price. And like I've been saying, the price of bacon has gone up. That's one thing. And, they carry these sausages that are very, very good. And I've talked about them before. They're called gobbler sausages. But what happens is they get an order in, and about 3 months later, they're starting to run low, and they just don't get another order. They just wait. And then after about 5 or 6 months, they're out, and then they get an order, which it surprises me. Right now, they're out of the burgers, because I would buy 3 or 4 packs of the burgers, which is like 8 burgers. And then every once in a while, we'd cook a big burger. I'd slap a piece of cheese on there, tomato, lettuce, onion, ketchup, mustard relish, whatever. And maybe I put some blue cheese on there or something. And it's just like one of the burgers that you would get if you go out. And you're going to pay 300 baht for. And I pay about, what would it be? 100 baht, probably about 150 baht. So I pay like half of what you would pay if you go out. Okay, on to the next thing here. Transportation, that is important. Financial systems. Difficulty navigating the Thai banking system or managing finances. Okay, managing finances is a bit different. But, that's something, you can have a hard time with that just because you just don't know how to handle your money. But if you want to navigate the Thai banking system, it's pretty easy. The only thing that you have to concern yourself with is, are you going to be able to open a bank account? And maybe you can't open a bank account at the CASHAPP in Klongjan. But you might be able to open it at the CASHAPP or Bangkok Bank or wherever in some other area. In Wang Tang Long or something like that. You might be able to get one in that area. So, and you can get them in your area. Generally, all you need now is you just need a letter from your, embassy that says you live in a certain area at a certain address. And the other thing, and I hate to go on about this, I like Line. I like Line because you can do a lot of different things with Line. Some people, like my kid, he uses True Move. I'm like, well, how do you do that? And he was going to show me how, and I forgot to do it. But like, I tried to do it, and I couldn't do it. It wouldn't allow me to do it. It said, this is for Thais only, which I don't like that. But okay, I use Line. In Line, you can only pay up to 5,000 baht for your electricity bill. So I never pay it with Line because it's always over 5,000 baht. So I always pay it with my Siam Commercial Bank. And most of the time, even motorbike drivers have QR codes. They have prompt pay. And you can just pay for everything that way. You don't even have to have cash. However, like if I go on the boat, you have to pay cash. So you need to have a little bit of cash. But the banking system itself, pretty easy to navigate. It's a little bit difficult to send money abroad. That can be a little bit difficult. But, most people are not sending money abroad all the time. I cook tacos, chili, garlic fried chicken, fillets, handmade burgers, chicken noodle soup, beef stew. Okay. I don't have a convection oven. I have an oven already. I have a what are those, induction burner stove. I have air fryer. I have just about everything. Microwave, whatever. Start baking pies. Oh Jesus! I don't need any pies, Jim. That's why I don't do it. In my yellow book, I can open a bank account or buy a car on the spot. Well, then why don't you open a bank account? You don't have a bank account in Thailand? Unfortunately, my brother-in-law is retired bank manager. He got me set up with my account at Bangkok Bank. Yeah, well, you're not that fortunate, honestly, um, because you can just go to a Bangkok bank, or you can go to some other bank. You just find out what they need. Some of them will go, no, we can't open it for you. Okay, fine. It's good. You didn't have to go through the hassle. But what I'm saying is, just for some people, it's not that much of a hassle. I mean, I talk about where I opened up a bank account in Pattaya. I went to one place and they told me, oh, no, no, you have two Bangkok banks. You have two already. You cannot. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I just moved on. I went to another one and they go, oh, very sorry. No, no can do. Okay, fine. Finally, I went to the one place where I talked to a lady and she had told me, yes, I can do it. And I remembered where it was. Boom, went in there, opened it up. That was it. The only requirement was that you are not a tourist. If you're a tourist, that's a different story. So, anyway, let's move on here. Business regulations, complications in setting up or running a business due to local regulation. Listen, I would not want to open up a business here. I mean, because first of all, if you're going to open something up, I think it needs to be on a relatively large scale. You got to have plenty of money to be able to do it. I wouldn't want to open some, like I'm going to open a massage parlor and my girl's going to run it. I wouldn't do any of that shit. Honestly, I wouldn't. I wouldn't open up a bar. I wouldn't open up a massage parlor. There's just no way. I just wouldn't do it. I'd rather keep my money and find something else to spend it on that will make me more money than, oh, I'm gonna operate a massage parlor, but my girl's gonna be the one in charge of it. Or maybe you're gonna run a restaurant. Okay, if you really know about restaurants and you know what to do and you know how to do it, then I would say, okay, go for it. What is this? Antarai. What is that? I don't know. My wife just sent me a message. I don't know what she's talking about. Okay, so when it comes to the business regulations, I don't know. I think you got to be very careful doing business here. The business people who do business here, they know about business and they know about what to do in Thailand. I'm not talking about some guy, oh, I've owned 13 stores in the U.S. and okay, that's great. Have you ever done business in Thailand? Do you have any idea about business in Thailand, what it's like? No? Okay, well then you better learn. Because things operate quite a bit differently. Let's see here. Number 19, legal restrictions on property ownership and business operations for foreigners. Okay. If you're coming here and you're just going to retire or something like that, you're not going to have these problems. I mean, you're not going to go out and buy, a huge plot of land and put your own house on it and do everything like that, and then you're going to find a girl. No, you're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get into it too much. Pet restrictions. Challenges in bringing pets due to quarantine regulations or housing restrictions. Now, that is a bit of a problem. And Mr. Two Quarters Korean, wherever you are, he was asking me, are you going to stream today? Yes. And where is he? Not here. He wants to bring his dog here, but he thinks it might be too much. Well, he doesn't think his dog will like the traveling, and who knows what'll happen with him. But it is a challenging thing to bring an animal here, and it will take some time and money and effort, as well as you're going to be away from your animal for quite some time. And my wife said to me today, she goes, I know that sometimes the I don't know where. Let me see something here. Nancy, she said, I know you don't always like the cats. She said, but they are part of our family, and they give us happiness. When we're sad, we pet them, and I'm like, for me, I just like sitting there watching a show, and the little thing comes up and sits there with me, puts his head on my lap, and then I just stroke his head. That's about what I like. I don't necessarily need him to be around all the time or walking underneath my feet. Nancy, let me see if I can get her to come. Nancy, Sid. Nancy, Sid. They might be upstairs. Okay, number 21. Technology and connectivity. Issues with internet speed, reliability, or staying connected with family and friends. I don't know why this is on this list. In Thailand, it's kind of like the transportation system. You don't really have that many problems with connectivity. It depends on where you are. I mean, you know, the other day when I was at on the river there, I had some issues. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. And, you know, even like Alex and Bo, they work from home sometimes. And guess what? If the internet wasn't working, they wouldn't be able to do that. Last night, Alex had a little problem connecting, but it was because he was putting in the wrong password. So, you know, I don't think that's going to be an issue for most people. If you're out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, maybe you'll have an issue. Maybe. But they've got it down so much now that, you know, it really, I don't know how she smelled Sid and Nancy. I don't think that they really were into my bag all that much. Although they, you know, I had it out for a couple of days. They could have been rubbing up against it or something like that. So, and it's not SID, it's SYD. Sorry. Like Sid Vicious. Or is it? No, it is with an I. You're right. It's what? Let me hang on a second. I thought that we decided it was with the. No, it is. It is with an I. I don't know how to spell. Simon John Ritchie. Oh God, he was just a piece of work, man. He was only 22 when he died. 21. Wow. Nancy. Sid. Hey. They could be up with Alex. I don't know. My internet here in the jungle is much more reliable than I had in Las Vegas. Yeah, I almost never have any problems. I mean, I'm on my phone for whatever reason. And when I'm at home, you know, I have the internet is connected, and I watch things on the internet, and I watch Netflix, and you know, our TV is connected to the internet, and I don't have any problems. So this thing here really is not ever a problem, even if you have to have your internet connected at all times. I mean, even the best of internet connections goes down once in a great while. So I think in Thailand, you really don't have to worry about that. Number 22, political climate. Concerns about Thailand's political environment and stability. Well, all I can say is, in all the time I've been here, there have been a couple of coups, and there have been some difficulties with the political system here. And I'm not one of these. Well, actually, I went and photographed it when I was working as a journalist. I went and photographed some of the coups. But I'm not the kind of guy that I'm going to stick my nose into other people's business and get involved in this political debate and everything going on. It's just not me. I'm staying out of it. Leave me alone. Let the Thais work it out. And that's about all I got to say. So I don't concern myself. Now, if it was really unstable here and things got really bad, that'd be a different story. But guess what? In all the time I've been here, they haven't been that bad. You know, there have been times when you know, there have been curfews and restrictions and things like that. But other than that, yeah, I don't really worry about it. We don't have to worry about that. Number 23, language of official documents, difficulty understanding official documents and contracts written in Thai. Okay, well, you know what? You got to get past that. You want to live here, you got to get past that. Whether it means your girlfriend or wife has to explain everything to you, or you are able to read it. I mean, listen, I can read documents and stuff like that. I can read names and dates and things like that. But if it's some really official document and it's like 3 pages of nothing but straight text, I would just give it to my wife and go, read that for me. I don't want to sit there and read it. And then maybe later I might go and try to read some of it and see, can I read it all? But that's also not all that difficult. And I mean, if you come here alone, you have nobody. Well, then you're going to have to take it to a notary or something like that. You're going to have to punch it into Google. I mean, you can do that. And, you know, most of the time it works pretty good now. They've really got it down from where it used to be. So, Google translates my work. Yes. Let me see something here. Let's see. All right. Social services, lack of familiarity or dissatisfaction with local social services or government support. Well, I mean, you don't come to Thailand as a foreigner so that you can be taken care of. You just don't do it. This is not America. You're not on welfare. You know, and they're not going to give you any money. You know, maybe some people will give you a little bit of money to tie you over for a day or two. But I would say you just cannot rely on that. You just can't. So, I mean, that's why having the funds, having a way to at least pay your bills while you're here is the most important thing. I mean, this is something that you really have to remember at all times. And you cannot get sloppy about it. You can't get sloppy and go, oh, well, you know, I don't always have to have money. I just have, you know, I've only got $500 this month. Yeah, okay, sure. Then live off of that. See what happens to you. You know. Well, you know, this is the other thing. I mean, if you're older, if you're really old, I mean, me and my wife were talking about this yesterday. She says, "You think I'll die before you?" No, I don't. I think I'll die before you. So hopefully I have her and my kids. If I get to the point where I'm unable to fend for myself, I'm unable to walk around or something, hopefully they'll help. I mean, I believe they will. If she's not around, well, then I got the boys around. But, like, you know, you've got to be able to fend for yourself here. That's really what it breaks down to. And if you want somebody to take care of you, yes, they can. But you need to make sure that you can trust them and that they're going to do a good job taking care of you. You know, I mean, that's just really simple, you know. Okay, the last and not least, number 25, personal comfort zone. Your reluctance to leave a familiar environment and establish routine in the U.S. And I can tell you, this is probably one of the biggest reasons. I'm not talking about, you know, like I know guys and they're like, well, my wife won't let me take a trip to Thailand. Why not? Because she knows what goes on there. She doesn't trust you. You go, you know what, honey, if you don't trust me, fine. I'm going. You know. And if you know, then that means, hey, if she wants to go somewhere, she gets to go. But you got to trust her. If you don't trust her, then what are you married to her for? But the big thing for me is that I have seen, I mean, literally, I have friends And I've been like, why don't you come to Thailand? Oh, yeah, yeah, one day. Yeah, one day. Why don't you come out here? Why don't you come out here? Why don't you come out here? Well, I've asked them 50 times. I stopped asking them because they're not coming out here. You know why? Because they're just established. They're like, oh, everything's set up how I like it here. They have a life. They have things the way that they want it to be. Now, sometimes it's just because they're scared. And sometimes it's because they're like, oh, I'm really busy. I can't take work off. Or, well, when was the last time you took a vacation? Oh, I don't remember. Okay, so you can take a 1 week or 2 week vacation if you really want. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so buy the ticket. You got a place to stay. You can stay with me, I guess, I mean, if you really, the thing is that hotels are really cheap if you really want to stay somewhere and you don't want to spend a lot of money. And, I mean, I have many, many friends who are, yeah, I'll come out there, sure. I'm going to go out there. I'll go out there soon. They just don't. I've had guys that I said, listen, you buy the ticket, everything else is on me. You don't have to worry about a thing. You'll be able to eat. You'll be able to go out places. You don't have to worry about a thing. They never come. And I think it's just because they're reluctant to leave a place that they're familiar with. And these guys, now that I think about it, for them, going to Mexico for the weekend is like a big trip for them. They have never traveled internationally and gone to Europe and gone to, to Australia and then to Asia. They just haven't done it. Now, this is some of my friends, they just won't relent. Maybe it's because they love what they are doing in the US and they love what they have, and I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal to be gone for, say, 9 days, 16 days, like a week or 2 weeks. I don't think it's a big deal. Now, what I would say is, for me, this is my home. This is where I live. I'm established. I'm comfortable. I don't have any problems living here. I mean, none. I don't have problems here. But, my wife said to me, oh, my friend told me that she went to South Africa and she loved it. And I said, Africa. Didn't I tell you? South Africa is a place where we could go fairly easily and it wouldn't be a strain on you. It's not like you're going to the Congo. You could go. And she's like, I don't know. So I have to talk her into it. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm going by myself. These are the people who can't move on from the high school. I don't know. I mean, after a while, you just move on from high school no matter what. I mean, I know guys who, they're still talking about high school when they're 60 years old. I know a couple guys like that. When I played football and... Oh, God, just shut up already. Nobody cares. That's the thing. You're working at McDonald's now. You were playing football before and you were the big star. That to that extreme. You just can't keep doing that. You can't keep living in the past. That's the big thing. You can't live in the past. You have to live in the future. 14-hour flight can be daunting to some folk. Well, it can be daunting to anybody. For me, anything under about 6 hours is fine. I don't care about that. 6 and 8, that's like Tokyo. Okay. But when you come from the U.S., it's a pain in the ass. And, my wife and I have talked about going back to the U.S. Next year and then taking a trip and maybe going to Ecuador or going to Costa Rica or going somewhere in Europe, or we don't know. And I'm like, depends on the kids, depends on everything. If the kids ain't going, it's just me and you. Okay, well, Thailand is a very easy place to vacation. Just be polite, speak soft, and put on a smile. You will love Thailand and return. Um, so what do you? How are you polite when people aren't polite to you? I think it's easier to vacation here than it is to live here, honestly, because it's just a temporary thing. But yes, generally you keep your cool. You don't raise your voice, and a smile will get you a long way. I mean, I've been walking around. I'm like, I know. I'm like, and then I see somebody. Hey, what's up? That takes you a long way here. You know, that smile will take you a long way. Anyway, listen. I know I haven't said anything, but I wish more people, would have done so. But smash the thumbs up button, please. Subscribe if you are not already subscribed. Um, Make sure you click the notification bell. Go down below in the description. Show a little love. Oh, below the video window, there are some tag products. Where's Dowlow? Dowlow, you're in Thailand. You're not even watching. Unbelievable. There is the Farang Lives Matter shirt below the window. But you can also go down in the description. And there's the CASHAPP and all the merchant. There's a link to the merchandise and to Amazon, all this stuff. Some of this stuff, it doesn't cost you any money at all, and I still make a little money, which is I'll take it, But do at least smash the like button. I'd appreciate that. That would help. That supposedly helps. And if you don't want to, oh well. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? It is seldom that Thais are impolite. No, they're generally very polite. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. There was a guy who I did business with, boxing business. Very polite, nice guy. Now, he always wanted what he wanted, but he was very polite, and he always was very nice to me. Never did he ever break from that mold. But some of the things that he was doing in business were, it was about the records of Thai fighters and things like that. I found to be wrong. And so I would just say, what you're doing is not right. And it's not going to work. I'm not going to take part in this. Oh, please, Mr. Scott, please, if you do for me. And I'm like, listen, I don't care how nice you are to me. I'm not doing it. So that is their MO, because that's how they are supposed to be in life. In this culture, you're supposed to be polite and kind to other people. Doesn't mean that if you're doing business with them that you're not going to screw them over or you're not going to try to get the best deal or whatever. It's just the way that it is. But, it's not like, the bottom line is, yes, they are very polite, very nice. And, I find from what I've seen that, how can I say this? I don't really know. I'm trying to think, but I'll just say that you can say it's a front. You can say it's they do it for because like you get more flies with honey. You could say that. Uh, Thai tech school male students are not the polite type. I don't know. I know that the kids that went to school with my kids were always super polite. I mean, when Nicholas was in the hospital, like 50 kids came in from the school, and they wanted more to come, but they had to just say, we'll just keep it to 50. And the kids came in, and my wife and I were there, and they were all whining and, cup, cup, cup. And then they were all quiet, and we kind of backed away and just watched. But these are superficial interactions, and it's easy to do that. It's easy to be superficial. It's easy to be nice in passing. I'm not saying that they're not nice. I mean, most of them probably are. But every once in a while, you find one that's not so nice, and they use that as a front. And that's how it goes in America. It doesn't matter. But, just like, Eddie Haskell in Leave It to Beaver. He was constantly kissing Beaver's mother. Well, he was, what was her name? Mrs. What was Beaver's mother? What was his name? Mrs. something. Whatever. He was constantly being nice to her. And, oh, you look so pretty today, Mrs. whatever your name is. Always sucking up. Sycophant. Ward, don't you think you're being a little hard on the beef? Cleaver, that's right, Mrs. Cleaver. Oh, Mrs. Cleaver, you look so beautiful today. That dress really looks good on you. Thanks, Eddie. So, anyway. That's about it, man. Time flies really fast. I got some errands to go run. I got to get out of here. Go pick up a few things, do a few things. Hey, you know what? I don't know why, but I just really like this Kamai trimmer. I don't know why, but I just love it. Is this hair? Piece of hair right there. I like this. Oh, there's a little oil still on the back of it, but okay. And I didn't turn it on. Man, cuts off my hair like nothing. Anyway, yes, Daniel, thank you. Thank you all very much. I will see you when I see you, which I don't know when it's going to be because I really want to have some streams on where I either talk about something that's interesting or I go somewhere interesting. And it's getting harder and harder for me to find places to go. Aside from, say, a coffee shop or whatever, I can go to different coffee shops. But, it's harder for me to find them. And, because I just don't want to go to the same places all the time. I don't want to go to Kong Dui all the time. I don't want to go to Chinatown all the time. I don't want to go to Sukhumvit all the time. I just don't want to go to those places all the time. So I got to think of new places, new exciting places to keep you guys entertained and thrilled. Yeah, I changed the name on this a couple of times. I think this is a little bit more mainstream. 25 Reasons Why Moving to Thailand is Easier Than You Think. Okay, did you ever find out from the dentist what's going on with your credit card? I mean, really, if people are having a hard time moving here, here's what I think, okay? And this puts it into context. Back in the old days, you used to have to take a boat across the water to get to, say, Thailand. It used to take months, weeks, months to get somewhere. Then when you got there, you might know some things from people who have been there before. Maybe you've heard some things and learned about, whether it's this place or somewhere else. But there were no guidebooks that you can easily read. Now, it's a piece of cake. And when I came over, really, I mean, I had to look at books and sit there and read them and go through them. And, you know, I didn't have a lot of people to help me. So now I look at it like, most people are a bunch of puffs, man. They have a hard time coming here? Okay, fine. If you got a hard time coming here, go ahead. You know, I am having the card sent here as we speak. If I have it when I come down there, I will make an appointment and buy you lunch. Maybe your wife, my wife, will stream with you. Well, I don't know about that. We'll see about that. But yeah, anyway, I just don't think it's that difficult to move here. I mean, you know, if you're moving to the Congo and you want to live there, the Burundi or some of these other places that are very difficult to, there are some places that like are in Finland, there are places in Norway where you can't live, in the United States even. So if you want to move there, it would be very difficult. And yeah, you know, it's just, do you really want to put all that effort into going to somewhere? Would I really want to go to the Congo to live there? No, I don't. Now, coming to Thailand is quite a bit easier. Okay? People don't have their hand out every minute for a little bakish. So, you know, I think that's, if you think about it, how did it used to be 200 years ago, 500 years ago? But let's just say, let's just keep it easy, 150 years ago. How was it to move over to another country? Well, harder than it is now. So if you got a hard time coming to Thailand now, just stay home. Really, just stay home. Or wait until you have enough confidence to be able to come over on your own and move there. Move here. Okay? So, anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Until next time, chok di leo jerken mai. That's good luck and see you later. Oops.